Welcome to SVG-TV's news for Saturday, June 11, 2016. I am Rochelle Baptiste with the headlines. A Liat aircraft coming out of Barbados, which was about to land at the E.T. Joshua Airport last evening, was forced to return there due to a laser light which was beamed into the cockpit of the aircraft. According to a media release from Airport's Director Corsell Robinson, the incident occurred around 9:20 last evening. She explained that the aircraft was very close to touchdown when it had to pull up and abort landing. Robinson says the fact that the pilot had to abort the landing gives an indication of the seriousness of this act, noting that the pilot needed to take drastic action to prevent what could have been a major accident. She says the decision made to divert the flight was in the interest of safety and that the pilot reported that the beam seems to have originated in the Dorsetshire Hill, Queen's Drive area. The airport's director says the use of laser lights to interfere with flight operations is a very dangerous practice, noting that a laser beam can blind or impair the vision of the flight crew to the extent that it can cause an accident or crash. She says to deliberately point this light at an aircraft is to threaten the safety of the passengers, crew, aircraft, property and lives on the ground and civil aviation in general, which can lead to the loss of lives and should not be taken lightly, and urges persons who have engaged in this dangerous practice to cease and desist from repeating such an offense. Minister of Information and Technology Camila Gonzalez is emphasizing that the soon-to-be enacted cyber crime bill is aimed at protecting and not victimizing persons. Gonzalez says despite claims of political motives, the bill is part of an Organization of Eastern Caribbean States (OECS) initiative to deal with issues such as child pornography, hacking and scams through cyberspace.
Don't let people who have political axes to grind distort what this bill is about. This bill is about protecting your children from child pornography. Is there politics in that? This bill is about stopping somebody from luring your son or daughter into some dark alley to do whatever, using the internet for those purposes. This bill is to stop people from breaking into your cell phone and your computer and using your data. This bill is to stop these scams where somebody will email you and tell you have won $1 million or there's $1 million oil money somewhere. None of those things are currently defined as crimes in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The Information and Technology Minister says the bill also addresses issues of defamation, but reiterated that it is not aimed at politically targeting persons.
If you Google cyberbullying, you will hear that there are children in the United States, the United Kingdom, in Europe, who have killed themselves because they are bullied and harassed online by their peers. Must we not do something to protect them? We have children who are living their lives online now, on social media, and there's no system of protection for these children. Now, if you look at the bill in its entirety, I'm not saying that a reasonable mind can say, well, maybe you're gone too far here, maybe you should pull back here, maybe you should go further here. But what this bill is about is protecting people. It wasn't drafted in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We didn't introduce it after the election or anything, any of these sort of gimmicks that people talk about. Read about this bill. It has a long history in the region. It has a long history outside of the region.
Economist and lecturer at the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus, Dr. Merlene Arts, has described the high rate of unemployed women across the Caribbean as disturbing. Dr. Arts was at the time delivering the UWI lecture on the topic Energy Security and Sustainable Development in Caribbean island states. The economist pointed out that this country, with a 15.7% unemployment rate last year, showed there are 13.71% of males unemployed compared to females, which shows a higher figure of 17.2%.
So in the Bahamas, you had 24.4% of your unemployed persons being male and 33% being female. In St. Lucia, you had an overall youth unemployment rate of 47%, 33.9% young men unemployed, 46.3%, sorry, St. Lucia, 33.9% and 62.9% of your young persons who are unemployed are young women. Suriname, 35% of your unemployed youth are women, 11.5% men. Trinidad and Tobago, also a higher share of your women unemployed as opposed to your young men. And again, remember, what we're first trying to do is to establish a context, to understand what our Caribbean space looks like. This is what our Caribbean space looks like, and these are some of the issues that we need to address from a development perspective.
As the 2016 Carnival season continues with events taking place across SVG, head of the Major Crime Unit of the RSVG Police Force is urging all Vincentians to be on the alert and better prepared to deal with the unexpected. Inspector Atherton Brown told SVG-TV News that persons must be aware of how secure they are, especially in regards to their homes. He noted that during this period of high activities, individuals must take the necessary measures to safeguard themselves.
Is there really a need to work with 6 and 7 gold children along in a carnival time? Sometimes you do it at your own peril. You got to turn your lights on, probably leave a radio on, so maybe the persons might think that you're actually home. You tell your neighbor, you make sure your windows are properly secured. I've seen burglars entering bathroom windows, 8 inches, 11 inches, no width and height. They are that skillful. You understand? So when a man gets in that, you know what he's come to do? A thief is come to kill and to destroy a man in his own castle. So you have to protect yourself at all material times.
Inspector Brown stressed the need for persons to know their limit when it comes to alcohol consumption, noting that being intoxicated can lead to persons being victims of crime. He further urged persons to think outside of the box when safeguarding themselves, as criminals are becoming more skilled at what they do.
Right, so if you're going out and you're going to have a drink and you think it's going to spell danger, please, you know your limit. You shouldn't have to wait for carnival to know your limit. If you're going somewhere, you have to make the proper arrangement in terms of transportation to get back home, to and from. Yeah, and if you're not expecting any ride from anybody, you shouldn't take it. Not just because you want to get home. You have to be skeptical as to who you're taking ride from. Yeah, you could walk with your cell phone, probably more than one. So if the perpetrator thinks he gets with one, you have another one to make a call. Yeah, and make sure you have the numbers of the police station closest to you. Make sure you have the number of a friend so they can tell them if something unfortunately happened to you, and make sure that you alert at all times.
In other news, the following Calypsonians have been selected from the Calypso preliminaries to compete in the Calypso semi-finals scheduled for Friday, June 24th at Victoria Park, commencing at 8 p.m. They are from the Dynamite's Calypso tent: Joel Naval String Bartholomew, Dennis Bowman, John the Truth Duggan, Prima Donna Bascom. From the Graduates Calypso 10, Shawali Johnson, Glenroy Sule Caesar, Glenroy Homie Dalplech, Kingsley Hero Roberts, Maxwell Tajo Francis. From the Onto Calypso tent, Grantley Iper Constance, Elvis Abijah Abbey, Kenneth Vibrating Skates Aline, Robert Patches King, Wendell Species Godridge, Roland Chickaby Cato. And from the Upstage Calypso 10, Chanel McKenzie, Jerome Parry Samuel, Chanel Scorpion Williams, Ronald Ronby Brown, Cleopatra Hendrickson, Brian Sprinter John, and Fitzroy Brother Ebony Joseph. The reserves are Vivian Icom Miller, Carlos David, Changai Morgan. These Calypsonians are invited to meet with representatives of the CDC and other officials on Monday, June 13, 2016 at the CDC's office, commencing at 5 p.m.